doctrine. You know, but I got a strong foundation from the Baptists. But the point of it being is that one of the things that you learn is that Paul came as the appointed apostle from the Damascus Road revelation, and from that point on, everything Paul says takes precedence over anything the other disciples said or the apostles said, because Paul came from Jesus himself and was going to start this new church, and anything the other apostles said, Paul took precedence. And that's the mindset.
And it's scary because do you think a lot of pastors out there realize this?
No, because you know what? I started praying, had a hunger for the truth, and I started asking, Lord, what was it the early apostles really taught? What was it the church really taught? Because I kept wondering why he was so mad at our churches today, why he was always claiming he was going to judge this church. It was a whore, it was wicked, it was evil. And I'm thinking, what's so evil about our churches today? Aren't we the generation that finally has it all right?
Right, right.
And so that's when he started opening my eyes to the differences in the teachings between the churches of today and the church he established through Peter. They're two different churches. And then
I couldn't agree with you more. So really we're left in the New Testament basically with James, the Gospels, Jude, and Revelation, I guess.
Yeah, I mean...
Is Acts any good?
When you ask the Lord to lead you,
right.
And to what to read, then pay attention to where he leads you. What's more noticeable is where he doesn't lead you. When I first came out with that website, and I was getting attacked by pastors and others,
oh, I'll bet.
I asked them, okay, where's the Lord led you to read lately? And they would name off books and chapters and passages, and I'd say, don't you realize not one of those things you've mentioned are one of Paul's?
Wow.
Not one of them.
That is truly amazing.
He doesn't lead people to Paul.
Well, he led me to you, and because of you, I am seeking him daily now, because you just set off a bomb in my life, spiritual life.
You know what? Sometimes it just takes some uprooting out so you can settle in with the truth.
Well, yeah, and I've heard you say that, and I felt led away from going there. I just, and when I heard you, I felt like, gee, I'm not alone. And like I've heard you say, there's probably a lot of us that are led away, although we don't really know why at first.
Yeah, you don't know why, but just, and like I said in the one article I just wrote, in God will I trust. Don't fight him if he tries to lead you away. I was at the Net Masters. I released 2 articles this week.
Yeah, I know. I got to read that one. I read the one before the Net.
And the Net Masters.
Yeah.
And I was going to talk about that tonight if I get to it. But there's so much going on. I just had a feeling June would be a monumental month. And it really has proven to be, because a lot of this stuff is going to come back. And I'll tell you what, Paul is dominant in the last days. I don't know how, but I always see his name in the codes.
When you mean, how would that be?
The Apostle Paul.
Dominant in these last days?
Yeah, in these last days, he is a definite part of the deception, the beasts that are coming. They're going to use either him or his doctrines. Maybe one of them comes in the name of Paul. I don't know. But it hasn't gone away. It's not over.
Like some miraculous thing, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not over. There's something coming. Maybe it's because of the dominant of his teachings that the beast prophets can use to still keep people deceived. But if you look at the church errors today, 98% of them are based on Pauline doctrines.
Oh, absolutely. I've been to a few, and it's unbelievable. Sherry,
Yeah.
how do you know you're anointed? What happened to you?
How do you know what?
How do you know that you're anointed?
Anointed?
By the Most High? Yeah, what happened to you?
Oh, you know what? It's not any one. It's a process.
Okay.
I can't. I mean, it's just like, it's not like I woke up one morning. Well, yeah, it is. It's like I woke up one morning and all of a sudden I knew what was him and what wasn't. I could hear him clearly because it was so many years of trials and testings before that.
Okay.
It's just like you go through a process and all of a sudden a revelation hits. Like all of a sudden the light turns on in your head and you start to realize things.
The night I got saved, when I obviously had this peace come over me that is still with me today. But that was a changing moment.
Well, I was professing the Lord since I was 3 years old. I've loved Him all my life since I can remember.
Right.
But I've gone through so many valleys. I mean, when I was a teenager, I was a pothead, and you go through all these different trials.
Yeah, I've been there.
And times in your life, and then you just get to the point where you just, Lord, teach me the truth, pull me out of this. I never want to backslide again. I never want to go through a valley again. I just want to stay at the top permanently. and then you just keep seeking Him. The turning point for me was starting to pray for Him for the truth in all things, and I did that every day. And when you start doing that, and at the same time you're praying for Him to keep you from evil and deception, He can start teaching you the truth, and you can have confidence that He's teaching you the truth because He's not only honoring the fact that you're asking for the truth, He's honoring the fact that He's keeping you out of evil and deception.
It all makes sense.
You know, and so you start to learn from Him, and what He'll do is He'll lead you by your spirit, with His Spirit, and then He will stop and pull away, so that you're like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? Well, where'd it go? How come I don't feel that anymore? And then He comes back. So then you recognize when He's with you and when He isn't.
And I know you say it's not with your head, it's with your heart.
Yeah, it's not a head thing. You know what? I could entertain head games all day long, and I could be talking to the CIA and the aliens. See, there's the CIA that has me under surveillance, and then there's a group of aliens that has the CIA under surveillance. So what's the three-ring circus?
Is there enough ore going?
Yeah, I mean, or you know, you've even got the NSA zooming in satellites down on your house, and you can actually hear them talk. And one time I even wrote down the name of one, trying to figure out what it was. Yeah, you can play head games day in and day out.
You got a lot of guts, little lady. I'm telling you.
You know what? I'm just doing what the Lord's called me to do. I'll die for Him. I don't care. You know, willingly.
That's the way I feel. I just hope He gives me the courage to do that if it comes to that. But all I know is I just want to be with Him. That's it.
Yeah, you know what? All He wants is for somebody to seek Him, to love Him, and He doesn't care how bad you are, because He can fix that. He will fix that. It's just in the process of seeking Him. Some people think we have to become perfect to come to Him. And you know, there's plenty of those in the churches today. There's plenty that are more holy than I'll ever be.
Yeah,
you know, they're the holier than thous, the Pharisees, the ones who just have it all right, and then they go home and that's about hypocrites.
Unbelievable.
And my faith is on my sleeve. What I am is what you hear and what you see is what I am.
That's why I called you, because I could sense that you were real. You are the real deal, as these people write you and ask. You're the real deal. Be not afraid. Sherry's a real deal. There's no doubt about it. You've backed yourself in a corner with all these websites and everything. Your reputation's on the line. You have to be the real deal now.
You know what? I just do it, and let the people lie where they lie, because I mean they
I know, but
crazy.
For like, at least for me, it would force me to be honorable, you know. But Sherry, you said something about Oregon, where it may not be totally effective because they hit and run or something.
They're running. They're doing it to me. I don't know if they're doing it to other people. I'm getting spit on as I sleep.
With, I think, I
don't even know if it's aliens. It could be humans. What?
I'm not sure if you're speaking to Peggy Kane or someone else, but you were saying that they hit and run, but the Oregon, does the Oregon work or not, or? Yeah,
the Oregon will work because they can't stand to be in it. That's why they hit and run. They don't come and stay.
Okay.
They hit and run. And I'm not even sure it's aliens I'm dealing with, because when you have spit all over your arm, it's more like a human thing than an alien thing, I would think.
Oh.
I think they're just coming into my room invisible and just slobbering all over me. I don't know what's going on.
Well, Sherry, I appreciate your time and your encouragement, and if you could say a prayer, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, I sure will.
And I'll call again. I really appreciate what you're doing, and you've really helped me. I just thank you and thank the Lord for it.
Well, praise the Lord, and thanks for calling in.
I appreciate it. Take care.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. That wraps up the first hour, everybody. We're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we'll be right back.